We can go on together, our suspicions wild, and we can rid our dreams. Our suspicions.
Let's take a journey in a small plane over the snow-covered peaks of Aleutian Range and endless landscapes of permafrost tundra to 58 degrees and 46 minutes of northern latitude and 157 degrees and 4 minutes of western longitude to a small coastal town of Naknek, Alaska. A few miles down the beach lies Pederson Point.
This beat-up all-wheel drive van is called the Red Line Taxi. When the tides allow, the beach is the only way to get to or from Pederson Point. Every year, hundreds of people from quite a diverse mixture of backgrounds take this taxi to seclude themselves for months away from the civilized world, to bury their hands in 16-hour shifts up to their elbows into millions of pounds of herring and salmon.
You are traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of rotten sights and rotten smells, but of rotten minds. You are moving through a land of both fatigue and stress, of fish and Filipinos. You've just crossed over into the salmon zone.
The first place we arrive to is the office where the paperwork is taken care of. Then we find our new room, whether it's in the Hilton, Chinatown, or hen house, and before we know it, we're at work.
Generally, the herring season begins in late April to early May and lasts for about 2 weeks. We're now in the fish holding bins, which are located upstairs inside of the processing building. Up to 70,000 pounds of fish per bin. The 4 bins serve as a working buffer to balance high versus low tides and other variables with the 24 hours per day operating cycle of the facility.
Imagine standing there in yellow rain gear all day, having guts splashing in your face and mouth, mosquitoes biting your ears, and all you see is fish. And then when you finally sleep for 4 hours, all you dream about is fish.
During the herring season, the setup of machinery is much simpler than during the salmon season. Since the fish do not have to be cleaned, they're only separated by sexes, which is performed automatically by the machines that determine the gender by shining light through the fish, and then detailed manually by processors who squeeze the fish to see whether any sperm flies out. In the grading department, the fish are put onto stacks of trays on wheels called racks and loaded into the freezers. Then, they're boxed up in the case-up department. The herring season is over quickly, so everything gets cleaned up and we are entering the mid-season.
During the mid-season, there are no fish, so only a very small crew stays to set up the machinery for the coming salmon season that starts in the first half of June. The freezers get cleaned, walls painted, racks welded, the engineers take care of the engines and belts, and of course there is a couple of people who do laundry and put the bread on the table.
And, since there are no fish yet, we can have a little look around. Welcome to the Pederson Point's International Airport. unfortunately no longer operational due to new security standards. Gates A and B and the baggage claim are on your left, but we will proceed to the right, towards Pederson Point.
This is Bobby, the driver. Pederson Point was founded around 1890 by L.A. Pederson. It lies at the head of Quitchak Bay, an eastern side of the bigger Bristol Bay, a few miles north of Nag, 90 miles west from the Aleutian Range, and about 300 miles southwest from Anchorage, Alaska.
On our left is Buksu's house, with a shallow muddy pond next to it. Behind it is another pond where beavers live. And even further is an old cemetery.
On our left is so-called warm house, where temperature-sensitive things are stored during the winter. On our right is Sugar Shack, a legendary bunkhouse.
The whole plant is interconnected with boardwalks because it's built on wetlands.
We are passing now various bunkhouses where the processors, fishermen and staff live. This is the downtown. Ahead of us is the 91 new bunkhouse and the Hilton.
Two phone booths serve as the only telecommunication available to connect with the rest of the world for nearly 400 people.
Jack, what are you doing?
Conveniently located right next to the gasoline tanks is the dump. The trash gets sorted and almost everything that can burn gets recycled in the flames inside of an old rusty boiler tank. Burning trash is a full-time position for 2 or more people during the season.
A fox likes to visit this place.